man. The city of stories. The jeweled city, resplendent in the desert sun. Safe among the shifting sands. But sunset brings a fearful rumor to the bazaar. The impossible has come to pass. An Armuzi army has crossed the desert and prepares to besiege. Amidst the whispers, a lone figure hurries towards the palace.
surrounded by a vast army, but you know also that Alfenic, the Sandfox, had great concern for our bright city. Such concern that he paid a visit to his friend the king to offer aid. You know that when the king was murdered, the Sandfox was blamed and dragged from that place in chains. You
know that he was brought to the great hall before a grief-stricken court, and that the queen took his glass dagger, and she buried it in his heart. The queen smiled, knowing that now her treachery could never be revealed. For no one can live who has felt the kiss of a glass dagger of the Kashai. The body was dropped deep, deep into that pit they call Traitor's Fall. You know this, all of this, but you do not know what happened next. The Sandfox was weary and in pain. No one is unchanged by the Traitor's Fall. But the Kashai had a duty. The queen had transgressed and was marked for death. Exhausted, the Sandfox called upon years of training. Every muscle ached, but the Sandfox felt strength returning. A guard, hide! The Traitor's Fall had taken its toll, but still, the Sandfox could leap like no other. To hang by the fingertips, to climb to great heights. Such were the skills of the Kashai. Torchlight was risky if watchers were close. The Kashai were adepts of the shadows. The surest way to win is to avoid the fight. Traitor's Fall. The Sandfox shuddered at the memory. Torchlight was risky if watchers were close. The Kashai were adepts of the shadows. The surest way to win is to avoid the fight. These were only thugs, the lowest of the low. Yet the Sandfox could not match them for brute strength. Ancient waterways, ruined from the time of Empress Sharza, princes of Karaman had harnessed the water to their own devices. Exhausted, the Sandfox called upon years of training. Even a Kashai could not survive a fall from too great a height. The Sandfox knew it was time to be careful. The Sandfox sensed danger nearby. The well-trained Kashai could pinpoint unseen threats easily if they stood still and listened closely. The air smelled of stagnant water and mold. The Sandfox hid away. The Sandfox enjoyed the chance to test skills that had grown rusty.
Oh, thanks, Shamash. I've been stuck here for days, said the woman.
The elevator is on a higher level. I cannot bring it down. Please, can you help? The woman sighed. I cannot go back to my friends, not with the elevator still above. The woman sighed. I cannot go back to my friends, not with the elevator still above. Sharzad's fortress had collapsed long ago and left routes impassable to all but the most skilled of climbers. How careless, how lucky. The guard was asleep, and their key was ripe for the picking. These guards, the Sandfox observed, had the good sense to wear a helmet. Knocking them out would be impossible. Weapon of stealth. With this, the Sandfox could deal with the guards, so long as they were unaware. Many sins of the kingdom washed down these drains. The Sandfox slipped out of sight. Strange cries echoed through the walls. The Sandfox had never heard a sound so lamentable yet preposterous. This place had been a storm drain in the days of Sharzad, when the gods sent bountiful rain. The Sandfox came to an encounter they would later recall fondly. Here was a place of safety. Here was a friend. So it's true. The bandaged girl paused, eyes wide. The Sandfox. Well, if you'd told me, I wouldn't have believed it. But here you are. Welcome. You must have many stories. A grin crossed her face. I'd love to hear them, but first let me tell you about this place. It is not like others you have been to. No one has it good down here, do they? Not the prisoners, not the rats, not even the Under Kings, really. Still, it beats a stint in the iron hold. Anyway, that's enough about this place. Tell me what you've been up to. Any new stories, fox friend? Tell me your story, fox friend. Among the drains and the rat catchers, the Sandfox knew they could relax their guard. There can't be anywhere worse than here, the unhappy man said. I I swear, if I have to eat another rat. The ugly man must be one of the underkings. They had been a power in the prison for years. No chance, said the ugly man. You're one of them filthy rat catchers, or at best a darkling. You've nothing we want. The ugly man glared at the Sandfox. I told you, you've nothing that we want. The man was muttering ominous words about monsters in caves. When he ran out of words, he whimpered. When he ran out of words, he whimpered. The Underkings have it so easy, the bitter woman said. This isn't a prison. If it were, the Underkings wouldn't live in such luxury. This isn't a prison. If it were, the Underkings wouldn't live in such luxury. I've lost my beloved pet rat, the shaggy-faced man cried, his breath thick with the smell of burnt meat. It escaped down to the rat runs. Won't you bring it back to me? My rat, the shaggy-faced man again cried with a pitiful look. Please bring it back to me. Since being thrown in here, I can only play in minor keys, said the player. At least I have my music. Others here have lost everything. Oh, that smell. Rust and crumbling stone. Kashai foot wraps shod with resin and nails. Old, but still wearable. The Sandfox could make good use of these. New footwear and a turn-up speed, the Sandfox could scale the sheerest wall. The Sandfox knew that now the wall here would be no obstacle. The fortress of Empress Sharzad had once been the marvel of the world, yet now her name was all but forgotten. The Sandfox had heard rumors of the dangerous cult, who dressed in yellow robes. Some said it was a new religion, but none knew anything of their purpose or who they served. These ramshackle structures were all that was left of the Bridge of Knives. Somewhere beyond lay the mausoleum, all dust, bones, and unquiet spirits. The cultists disquieted the Sandfox. More than ever, the shadows were the Sandfox's friend. Once more, the Sandfox could relax. Now that the Sandfox could scale sheer surfaces, old haunts offered new opportunities. They were taught to be nimble, the Kashai. Even as a child, the Sandfox knew the trick of sliding down a wall and jumping from it. This had the stillness of a place of worship. The Sandfox knew this grate couldn't be passed right now. It would have to be remembered for later. Brilliant light-capped mushroom spores illuminated the darkness, ever so slightly cheering the usually gloomy underworld. The Sandfox's heart was pained to see the sandy, shambling parody of a man. The Sandfox knew there was nothing to fear from the simple mushroom pickers. "Welcome, honored Alfenic," the bearded man said. "We Darklings are adherents of your ancient predecessor, Jarbu. May we be treated to a demonstration of your skills?" The Darkling smiled. "Cross the crags and precipices of our domain. I shall await you on the other side with a gift from your predecessor."